Men, here's something critical you need to understand. Cheating doesn't begin in hotel rooms or secret locations. It doesn't start with physical betrayal happening somewhere out of your sight. No, it starts much earlier than that. It starts right in front of you, in your own home, in the mirror where she's checking herself one more time, in the hallway where she's pausing to spray that expensive perfume, and at the door where she's suddenly in a rush to leave. Today, we're going to expose and thoroughly analyze 7 specific actions women consistently perform before leaving home that strongly indicate she's going to see another man. Before we break down each of these revealing behaviors in detail, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now. Smash that like button to help spread this crucial information to other men who need to hear it, and hit the hype by dropping a comment below. If you've ever noticed her pre-leaving routine suddenly change in ways you couldn't quite explain at the time. Action 1. Sudden extra effort. In her appearance. Let's start with one of the most visible yet frequently rationalized signs you can observe. Picture this scenario. She's getting ready to head out for what she describes as a quick errand, maybe grabbing groceries, picking something up from a store, or meeting a friend for casual coffee. Nothing special, just ordinary daily activities that used to require minimal preparation. But now, suddenly, you're watching her implement an entirely new level of grooming that seems completely disproportionate to the supposed casualness of the outing. She's applying makeup with meticulous care and attention to detail that you haven't seen in weeks or months. She's choosing bold lipstick shades that she typically reserves for special occasions or date nights. She's carefully styling her hair, not just running a brush through it, but actually using heat tools, products, and spending real time getting every section just right. Female psychology provides crucial insight here. When attraction motivation is actively involved, when someone wants to appear desirable to a specific person they're about to see, grooming behavior becomes significantly more intentional, detailed, and time-consuming. This isn't about general self-care or wanting to look presentable for the world. This is targeted presentation for someone whose opinion matters to her in a romantic or sexual context. She's not dressing herself up for her own confidence or for random strangers at the grocery store who won't remember her face 5 minutes later. She's dressing for someone specific, someone whose attention she craves, someone she wants to impress and attract. Watch particularly closely for upgrades in specific areas, perfume that's more expensive or more sensual than what she typically wears on regular days, jewelry that adds elegance or draws attention to her neck or wrists, clothes that are more form-fitting or revealing than what she'd normally choose for mundane errands. Pay attention to whether she's wearing that outfit you once complimented, or worse, wearing something new that she's never worn around you. Notice if she's putting effort into aspects of her appearance that you wouldn't even see if she's supposedly just running to the store and coming back. The level of effort should match the stated importance of where she's going. When it doesn't match, when the preparation far exceeds what the occasion would reasonably require, you're witnessing preparation for an audience she's not telling you about. Action 2. Changing clothes. Multiple times before going out. Remember how things used to be. She'd decide to go out, grab something simple from the closet, throw it on, and head out the door within minutes. The process was straightforward, efficient, and didn't require much deliberation. Those days are gone, and what's replaced them should capture your complete attention. Now you're watching her try on multiple outfits, one after another, examining herself critically in the mirror from different angles, asking you how she looks in ways that seem to be seeking validation or approval that she's never needed before for these supposedly casual outings. This transformation isn't indecision or normal fashion-related uncertainty. This is impression management at a sophisticated level. Psychology shows us that people adjust their self-presentation most carefully and deliberately when they want to be perceived as attractive and desirable by someone new, someone whose opinion they haven't yet secured, someone they're still trying to impress. This behavior makes perfect sense in the early stages of dating or when preparing for significant social events where first impressions matter. But when it's happening before she heads out for what she claims is just meeting a girlfriend for lunch or running errands or going to something work-related and casual, the behavior doesn't align with the explanation. The key indicator here is the dramatic change from her previous patterns. If she's suddenly exhibiting this level of concern about her appearance before supposedly mundane outings, something about these outings has become important enough to warrant this extra effort. The most logical explanation, the one that aligns with countless observed patterns in relationship psychology, is that these outings have become opportunities to see someone who makes her want to look her absolute best, someone she's attracted to, someone she wants to attract, someone who isn't you. If this outfit-changing behavior happens consistently before certain types of plans or before meeting particular people, pay very close attention to who she's supposedly seeing and what the real nature of those meetings might actually be. Action 3. Guarding her phone closely while getting ready. Here's a behavior pattern that combines two red flags into one obvious signal. Heightened phone protectiveness, specifically timed with preparation to leave the house. She suddenly becomes extremely protective of her phone during the getting ready process, holding it constantly, even while moving between rooms, checking it between outfit changes, taking it with her into the bathroom, even though she used to leave it on the dresser or nightstand without concern. The phone becomes essentially glued to her hand during this pre-departure window in ways that seem excessive even by modern smartphone addiction standards. This isn't just habit or the normal absent-minded phone carrying most people do. This is active coordination happening in real time. Think about what's actually occurring during this period. She's likely messaging the person she's about to meet, finalizing last-minute details about timing and location, responding to his texts about how excited he is to see her, or frantically hiding incoming messages that would reveal the true nature of her plans if you happen to glance at her screen. The phone becomes the communication lifeline to the person she's preparing to see, and maintaining complete control over it during this vulnerable window when she's physically close to you becomes absolutely critical to maintaining the deception. What makes this particular sign so revealing is the direct connection between the phone behavior and the act of leaving. The timing isn't coincidental. She's not just generally protective of her phone throughout the day. The protectiveness intensifies specifically when she's getting ready to go out. This pattern indicates active communication tied directly to immediate plans. She's managing the logistics and emotional connection with someone else right in front of you, just carefully enough that you can't see the screen or know what's being said. This sudden secrecy tied directly to the act of going out is one of the most consistently overlooked signs because people tend to attribute it to general phone addiction rather than recognizing it as coordinated deception. Action 4. Unusual excitement and nervous energy. This sign requires you to be attuned to subtle emotional shifts, changes in energy that might not be obvious unless you're paying close attention to her baseline mood versus how she behaves when preparing for these particular outings. Notice the subtle but unmistakable differences. She's humming songs while getting ready in ways she doesn't usually do, smiling at her phone with a particular kind of warmth or amusement, displaying a lightness in her overall mood and demeanor that seems disconnected from anything happening in your relationship or her regular daily routine. Female psychology teaches us something important about anticipation and emotional states. Anticipation of seeing someone you're attracted to, someone who makes you feel desired and excited, triggers dopamine release in the brain. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter associated with reward, pleasure, and motivation. And here's the thing about dopamine. It shows in behavior. It manifests as increased energy, elevated mood, more frequent smiling, general enthusiasm that seems to bubble up from somewhere internal. When you see this kind of emotional elevation, specifically connected to her preparations to leave, you need to ask yourself what's causing it. If this energy and excitement isn't about seeing you because she's leaving you behind, and if it doesn't seem proportionate to seeing close friends for routine hangouts that happen all the time, then it's very likely tied to someone else who makes her feel desired, attractive, and emotionally alive in ways she's currently not experiencing in your relationship. She might claim when questioned that she just needed a night out, or she's excited to have some social time, or she's looking forward to a break from routine. But the specific quality and intensity of the spark in her eyes and the spring in her step tells a different story. There's an element of romantic anticipation in that energy, not just social anticipation. The distinction is subtle but real, and if you've been with her long enough, you know what her energy looks like when she's genuinely just excited about normal activities versus when something more emotionally charged is driving her mood. Action 5. Being vague about where she's going. Listen carefully to how she describes her plans when she's getting ready to leave. Notice the level of specificity, or more accurately, the deliberate lack of it. You get responses like, just meeting a friend, without naming which friend. It's a work thing, without explaining what kind of work thing or who will be there. Don't wait up, without any details about when she expects to return or what could possibly take so long. The descriptions are deliberately non-specific, carefully constructed to give you just enough information to stop asking questions, but not enough information to verify anything or follow up with specific inquiries later. Here's what you need to understand about this vagueness. The less specific she is about where she's going, who she's seeing, and what she's doing, the more likely there's something substantial to hide. Cheating women become masters of strategic ambiguity because they understand a crucial principle. Details can be checked, verified, cross-referenced, and potentially exposed as lies. If she tells you she's meeting Sarah at the coffee shop on Main Street at 7 p.m., you could theoretically drive by, you could call Sarah later, you could ask follow-up questions about what they discussed or what happened. But if she just says she's meeting a friend for drinks, there's no specific information to verify. The vagueness gives her complete flexibility to construct whatever story she needs later, to change details if necessary, to avoid being caught in contradictions. Watch what happens when you ask direct, specific questions about her plans. If those questions lead to defensive reactions, irritation about why you need to know, accusations that you're being controlling or don't trust her, or quick topic changes that redirect the conversation away from the details, you're not observing normal communication about innocent outings. You're watching someone protect information they can't afford to reveal. Innocent people with genuine plans don't typically become defensive when asked basic questions about where they're going or who they'll be with. The defensiveness itself is the admission that something about the truth would be problematic if known. Action 6. Avoiding physical contact before leaving pay. Attention to the quality and presence, or conspicuous absence, of physical affection during those moments before she walks out the door. There's no goodbye kiss, or, if there is one, it's perfunctory and emotionless, a quick mechanical peck that fulfills the bare minimum social expectation without any actual warmth behind it. Maybe there's a brief hug, but it feels distant, like she's already mentally checked out and physically present only in the most technical sense. Her tone might be matter-of-fact or even slightly cold, lacking the warmth that used to characterize your goodbyes, even for short separations. What you're witnessing here is something psychology calls emotional compartmentalization, the mental process of separating you and your relationship from the feelings, excitement, and attraction she's reserving for someone else. Physical closeness with you in these moments, before she leaves to see another man, would create cognitive dissonance, psychological discomfort from holding two contradictory positions simultaneously. On some level, probably subconscious, engaging in intimate physical contact with you right before going to be intimate, emotionally or physically, with another man would make the betrayal feel too real, too present, too uncomfortable to ignore. The absence of affection before leaving isn't just coldness for its own sake or general relationship distance. It's often a very specific mental and emotional shift toward the person she's actually anticipating seeing. Her mind is already wherever she's going, already with whoever she's meeting. You become almost invisible in those moments, just an obstacle between her current position and where she wants to be. If this lack of physical warmth before departures is new, if it represents a change from how things used to be, if it's specifically connected to certain types of outings or certain claimed destinations, you're not witnessing random relationship dysfunction. You're witnessing her psychological preparation for spending time with someone who currently occupies the emotional space that should belong to you. Action 7. Rushing out while downplaying the event. Here's a fascinating contradiction that reveals itself when you observe both what she's saying and what she's doing simultaneously. She acts like she's in a significant hurry, moving quickly through her final preparations, checking the time frequently, expressing urgency about needing to leave right now or she'll be late, exhibiting clear time pressure and impatience. But at the same time, when you ask about where she's going or what the rush is about, she insists it's nothing special, or just a casual thing, or not important really. The disconnect between her behavior and her words creates a contradiction that should immediately catch your attention. This contradiction, rushing while minimizing, isn't accidental confusion or poor communication. It's a sophisticated psychological tactic designed specifically to keep your suspicion levels low while allowing her to act on her genuine urgency to leave. Think about the dual purpose this serves. The rushing comes from authentic eagerness to see someone she's excited about, someone she's been anticipating seeing, someone she doesn't want to keep waiting because his opinion of her matters. But she can't let that eagerness show, obviously, because it would raise questions. So the downplaying acts as misdirection, as camouflage for the real emotions driving the urgency. By insisting the outing isn't important while simultaneously acting like it's urgent, she's trying to have it both ways. If she's never been this eager to run a quick errand before, if these supposedly casual, unimportant outings suddenly warrant rushing and time-checking and urgency that seems excessive for what's being described, she's not just running errands, she's not just grabbing coffee with a friend, she's not just handling routine responsibilities. The body language, the energy, the time consciousness, the barely contained excitement, all of it points towards someone who has somewhere important to be and someone important waiting for her. When the stated importance doesn't match the demonstrated importance through behavior, believe the behavior. Actions reveal truth more reliably than words, especially when someone has strong motivation to hide that truth. Each sign individually might have an innocent explanation. Maybe she just felt like looking nice. Maybe she's being extra careful about fashion. Maybe her phone has important work communications. Maybe she's just excited about social time. Maybe she values her privacy. Maybe she's stressed and not affectionate. Maybe she's just busy. But when multiple these signs appear together, when they represent changes from her previous baseline behavior, when they cluster specifically around certain outings or certain claimed destinations, the innocent explanations become increasingly implausible. What you're observing isn't coincidence. It's preparation, it's anticipation, it's deception in action.